Who has more to prove this season, Lamar or Josh Allen?
I hate to do this to Josh Allen because I think and
No.
I know he's an elite quarterback in the NFL,
Yeah.
but Woody and Victoria, he has the most to prove, especially after last year, because how much did we hear? And I warned people, when everybody was saying this is going to be it for the Buffalo Bills, I said, did Patrick Mahomes retire?
Yeah.
And when that answer was no, I said the AFC runs through him, and Buffalo was not able to measure up. And to be fair, the Damar Hamlin situation at the end of the season, that would have wrecked a lot of teams.
Absolutely.
That would have wrecked a lot of organizations having to deal with that. I'm glad that Damar Hamlin has been able to be where he is mentally, physically, and on football-wise. We all root for people like that. But I thought Josh Allen, even before that happened, he did not deal with the pressure well. He had great stats, 4,283 yards, 35 touchdowns, but those 14 interceptions were alarming. He ran for over 630 yards and had 7 touchdowns rushing. But I thought he put too much on himself. And you can't be the best quarterback and the best running back with all that pressure and think that that's going to work in your favor. That's why coming into the season, you don't hear a lot of conversation about the Buffalo Bills. It's more about the Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And also, you're the Buffalo Bills. You know you're an elite football team. You have an elite defense. You have an elite quarterback. But can you deal with people not talking about you in that way? If that's going to happen again for Buffalo, like we talked about them 2 years ago and before last season, Victoria and Woody, then Josh Allen has to be that guy. And I can't wait to see how he deals with a different kind of pressure that is going to be the same, but on a different level compared to last year when many people thought they were going to get out of AFC and win their first Super Bowl.
What about you, Damian?
Yeah, listen, I think that Josh Allen has a tremendous amount of pressure, but I think Lamar Jackson, the answer for me is Lamar Jackson, and simply for a couple of reasons. Number one, out goes Greg Roman, the old offensive coordinator. In comes Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator, who I think will help unlock the passing game for Lamar Jackson. The one thing that we've talked about constantly with the Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, is just the lack of diversity as far as their passing game is concerned. We felt like that Greg Roman really held Lamar Jackson back in that aspect of his game. Well, Todd Monken is going to bring something new, fresh to the passing game. They're going to be able to exploit every blade of grass on the field offensively. This is the best offensive skill weapons that Lamar Jackson has ever had in his career with Baltimore. And I think the one thing that Todd Monken is going to do is he's going to give him the keys to go out and make checks at the line, to do some of the things that we see some of these other quarterbacks do, a la Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I think that's something that's going to be new to the Baltimore Ravens offense. So I think that's one aspect of it. But for me, the second aspect, I think the even bigger one, is the availability of Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson's on the field, the Baltimore Ravens win. Lamar Jackson has the third best winning percentage of any quarterback since coming to the league in 2018. But over the last couple of years, the big thing with Lamar Jackson is being able to stay on the field. He missed 5 games last year, and they stumbled in the postseason last year, and they missed 4 games prior to that. So as much as I talk about what Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator, is going to mean to Lamar Jackson, I think Lamar Jackson's availability is going to be key for the Baltimore Ravens because, Freddie, you know this as well. Seeding is big in the playoffs when it comes to the National Football League. Having home playoff games or even having the opportunity to be the number 1 seed, when you're not available, that tremendously diminishes your opportunity to have those type of games at your disposal. So Lamar Jackson, more than anything, needs to be available for this organization to really realize their potential.
And a part of that availability is how they're going to be able to manage the running game and the passing game. Because to your point, Damian, having Todd Monken taking over as the offensive coordinator, and you drafted Zay Flowers, you have an Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, you hope he's going to stay healthy. We know Mark Andrews is an elite tight end in the National Football League. He's maybe one of the better tight ends, not named George Kittle or Travis Kelce in the National Football League. So I can't wait to see about that. But I'm going to use your word, Damian, availability when it comes to Josh Allen, because he is going to have weapons available to him. But the most important question is that one availability when it comes to Stephon Diggs. For his sake and for the Bills' sake, you better hope what happened in OTAs does not transfer into the regular season. I think that adds even more pressure to Josh Allen because now he's got to manage that fire and make sure that fire does not erupt in the face of Stephon Diggs. At least Lamar Jackson does not have to worry about that. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a distraction. He knows he's playing for his career and another big contract. But if you're Josh Allen and you were that much removed from being a team you thought could win a championship, and now you got this potentially going into the regular season, I think that adds even more pressure on Josh Allen to try to make sure that this Bulls team doesn't go further and further and fall further and further down in the AFC.
Absolutely. And quickly, we talk about the Chiefs, and they're kind of the kings of this division. Now, quickly, out of both teams, which one would you pick to knock off the Chiefs? Freddie, I'll start with you.
The Baltimore Ravens because of their defense and the fact to Damian's point, if Lamar Jackson's available, they were 8-4 last year when he was a starting quarterback. And if he's on the field with those new kind of weapons, they beat Kansas City in the regular season in Baltimore last year. They got a better football team this year. I would take that team over Buffalo that could knock off Kansas City.
All right, Damian, what about you quickly?
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Listen, I don't get too much. I don't buy too much into the whole Stephon Diggs thing. I think there's plenty of time to smooth over any residual stuff that came over from last year. Remember, Buffalo had some injuries on their defense, particularly at the safety spot. Those were two critical pieces to their defense. Those guys are coming back. They should be even better on defense. So I like the Bills.
Who has a better chance to make the Super Bowl, Damian? The Cowboys or the Jets?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and my main reason is the path of least resistance. When you look at the NFC as a conference, it is far inferior to what we have in the AFC, and particularly you look at the quarterbacks in that conference. Outside of Jalen Hurts, there's a lot of unknown as far as the different quarterbacks that are represented in the NFC. We can talk about Jared Goff in the year he had with the Detroit Lions. He had a really great year bouncing back his year in Detroit. But listen, even with the 49ers, there's a lot of questions about, Brock Purdy and his health status and who's going to start, the season with the 49ers. Obviously, with Dallas and Dak Prescott, everyone talks about the interceptions. I get it. It was the most he had 15 interceptions in the regular season, the most of his career. But if you look at how that all went down, a lot of it was because of the lack of weapons on the outside being able to separate. For Dak Prescott, and obviously Dak Prescott got to be more cognizant of throwing the football, taking care of the football in critical situations in the game. But for me, when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, I look at a team that is quite honestly not that far off from the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to have an elite defense. They got weapons on offense. They traded for Brandon Cooks to add another playmaker outside CeeDee Lamb. The biggest question, in my opinion, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, the play calling with Mike McCarthy, because he hasn't called plays since 2018, his last year with the Green Bay Packers.
That's what gives me pause why I'm going the other way with the New York Jets. And your point is very valid. When you got the gauntlet, that's the AFC compared to the NFC, there are less tougher teams that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys will have to deal with compared to the New York Jets and the AFC. But there's a certain guy with the New York Jets they have right now. I think we've heard of him, called Aaron Rodgers, and he's done something that Dak Prescott hasn't done, and that has had playoff success, not just winning a Super Bowl ring. But it wasn't that long ago that the Green Bay Packers had back-to-back appearances in the NFC Championship game. And we always talk about that quarterback position. Woody, now you and I have talked about that the most pressurized position in football is not just playing quarterback in the NFL, but playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So you got to find a different kind of motivation. And that's the key word as far as I'm concerned with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. He's going to be the most motivated quarterback, maybe even the most motivated player going into the season, because he wants everybody knowing Green Bay, you should have kept me. You shouldn't have worried about moving on from Jordan Love. You shouldn't have drafted Jordan Love. This is too young for Victoria Arlen, but Damon, you're in the same class I am. Remember in Purple Rain when he had the puppet and it pops out? That's Aaron Rodgers. He turns around, you don't need the Packers, you don't need the fans, you don't need Lambeau Field. He looked at the Jets and said, all you need is me. So he has all that motivation right now to say, you didn't want me, but now a different green team has me when it comes to the New York Jets. That's why I think that motivation, that defense, Breece Hall coming back, and the wide receivers on the outside. I'll take the Jets, and all you need is Aaron to be a better chance to get to the Super Bowl than the Cowboys.
All you need is Aaron. Look at the track record of last year. But But Damien, I want to point something out. Speaking of green, didn't you play for the Jets?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I did, man, but I'm not going to be some type of homer on the show. I'm trying to,
Attaboy.
I'm always going to spit the real to you guys, man. So, that's,
Respect
I
it.
got love for the Jets, but I'm not going to be a homer now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, respect it. I just wanted to point that out there.
And he's
that
got jet green on, by the way.
You have green on. You played for the Jets, but you're choosing the Cowboys.
See, y'all trying to get me in trouble out here with my former organization. I see how it is.
No
now.
trouble. No trouble. We're just
remember Victoria's the one that brought it up first. I just really agree with you.
I just put it out there.
You just put it out there. But I think both of these teams can be good, especially like you mentioned, Damon. Both of these teams have lights out defenses. Micah Parsons on one side for the Cowboys, and that Jets defense led by Quinn and Williams. I can't wait to see how that's going to work in both of those divisions in the AFC East and the NFC East.
Well, and the Jets do have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL from weeks 1 to 12. That's 8 of their first 11 games are against teams that made playoffs last season. Now, the last time the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl was in '95, and the last time the Jets were in the Super Bowl was once back in 1968, when, of course, they won.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.